Have you ever, ladies, received a favor, a blessing from God, and you're like, yeah, I know exactly where this favor came from? So that is how listening or acknowledging and respecting people, that will literally come back to you from God, from someone. Hi everyone, this is Krista and welcome to the Feminine TakeOff. This topic of today's video is actually one of my favorite. I know I probably say that with all of the topics, but every single thing that I tell you, ladies, is something that I have intentionally and specifically made time to discuss, to learn, to develop within myself. And this is why this is a Femininity channel. This is why this is a community, because I am speaking to you through learned experience. I am speaking to you not through something I just watched on some other YouTube video or something I just learned somehow, some way. I am speaking to you in a way that I have learned through experience. I have definitely worked through it, sorted it out, and processed it myself. And that's why I'm always so excited to tell you, ladies, my points. So ladies, let's talk about something that will truly elevate you. Something that every single human needs, whether you could speak or not, and that is a communication skill. And more specifically to that communication skill is listening skills. In order to be effective in this world, to be feminine in this world, and to be gentle and soft, you need to be able to listen. And listening is also a skill that protects you and enhances you and elevates you. So ladies, let's begin with the points of this video, shall we? So ladies, the first thing that I want to say, ladies, is that femininity is not being silenced. It's about being understanding. I have often seen and heard femininity channels encourage women to be silent, to just be quiet, okay? But there is a difference between being quiet to understand, to maneuver, to learn, and just being silent, getting your voice taken away from you in order to be submissive, in order to submit to something that maybe you might not even agree with. And ladies, femininity is not about being silent or powerless or submissive and relinquishing your power. It is truly about learning and gaining emotional intelligence skills through the acts of listening. It is to benefit you, ladies, if you use it the right way. And when you listen to understand, ladies, you build peace, insight, and connection, which is all a strength and not a weakness. And so that leads me to the second point of my personal story when I didn't listen. Ladies, there was a point in my life where, as I said, I've always been feminine, but I've also always been girly. And there is a difference. Girly is for being when you're young, when you don't know any better. You have someone who protects you, who's supposed to teach you things, right? So you like the pink thing, you like the freely things, and you like the nice things. That's fine. That is girly. Being feminine is you like all of those things, but now you are intelligent. Now you are self-disciplined. Now you are self-driven because you're able to have full sovereignty over yourself and over your life. So you're leading yourself into the right and the best way possible for you because you are feminine now. So being girly is for children, for younger people who have people who are looking after them. And being feminine is for grown women. It's for adults. It's for young adults. It's for people who want self-sovereignty, people who discipline themselves, people who want more out of life than just the only pink and girly things. When you are feminine, you are more and you want more. All right. So that leads me, ladies, there was a point in my life when I was more so girly than feminine because obviously I was younger. And ladies, I did not listen to understand. I would ask someone a simple question like, how are you? And when they go to answer, I would be thinking about the reply that I'm going to give them. My mind would drift away to another topic if they're talking too long, and so on and forth. I never truly listened. I could have a full-blown 30-minute conversation with someone and retain nothing. Someone could say, oh, what were you talking about? I would be like, oh, just random things. Why? Because I wasn't honestly listening. You see, and I wouldn't know why, because I either interrupted them mid-sentence, my mind drifted away, I was thinking of my own responses, I just wasn't listening. And ladies, it did harm me more than it did me good. because in this life, in order to survive, especially as an adult, you need to be able to listen and process information. So ladies, you're not only listening with your ears, but you're also listening to your eyes, your visual cues. What is it? A high percentage of communication is through body language. Not only what someone is saying through their mouth, that is important too, but also how someone's body is moving, the context in which they're telling you and moving their body, okay? What do you know about them? What do you know about the situation they're telling you about? What do you know? The context, the clues, all of that truly matters, ladies. And even worse, ladies, when I was younger and I wasn't listening to people when they were telling me things, I also overshared. That's what happens when you are not listening. You overshare, you divulge information that is not even necessary for the other person to have and use. And worst case, they could even use it against you. So again, sometimes I would be talking to someone and then I would tell them every single thing there is to know about my life. And at the end of the conversation, shamefully so, I probably wouldn't even know their middle name. I wouldn't know where they're from. Worst case, I probably wouldn't even know their first names in some occurrences. And so ladies, listening is like a soft discipline. As you cultivate your art of listening, it is an intentional skill that you will develop that is beneficial to you. And ladies, listening is also not robotic. Oftentimes, again, not all of them, some are really good, but some femininity channels will tell you, just listen. When you're at a dinner table, just be still and listen and stare at them. Honestly, when I do that, when someone is talking and I'm just robotically staring at them, you want to know something? I get stuck into that robotic mindset. And so what happens is not only am I not listening, I am uncomfortable. And I'm definitely not listening if I am uncomfortable, ladies. It's just a thing about me. I'm not good at doing things that are not comfortable for me. I'm not good at doing things that I don't like doing. And truly sitting robotically is just not comfortable to me. Of course, I've taken etiquette classes. Of course, I enjoy being soft, supple, intentional with my movements. But just to tell my brain, robots, listen, it just feels uncomfortable. It doesn't feel good, at least for me. All right, ladies? So again, just understand that when you're learning to listen, there is fluidity in being intentional about listening. It doesn't just have to be you just saying, okay, I'm listening, I have to listen. No, you're least likely able to truly listen and understand when you're approaching it in that way. All right, so now let's move on to my third point in this. My third point is how to practice soft and intentional listening, okay? Because you need to be able to practice it, right? If you really want to learn that skill. And the first way that I'm able to practice that is to mirror and expand. And I'll explain that to you in just a second. For me, how I do that is, let's say that I am at my gym, at my fitness center. I have a lot of friends at my fitness center, or I spark up conversations sometimes with like friends or people who have done the same workout class as I have, and so on and forth. So if I run into them either in the sauna or just in the gym or wherever I am in public, and they're like, "Hi, how are you, Krista?" I would genuinely answer, but I would try to also make that answer brief, even if that answer is negative. But we're actually going to go a little bit deeper later. But just let's now focus on just answering genuinely, but keep it short. And in addition to answering genuinely, for example, let's say their name is Lisa. So Lisa sees me, we've taken Pilates classes together before, and Lisa sees me again. She's like, "Hi, Krista, it's been a long time. How have you been?" And I would say, "I've been well, thank you. It's so good to see you, Lisa. How have you been? If I know Lisa has children, I will bring this into the conversation. How are the children? How is your family? And just be able to ask engaging questions like that. First, what that tells Lisa is that I listen. She told me probably about her children prior to this meeting, maybe weeks, months, years ago, and I remembered enough to know and inquire about those children. This is actually also a very common thing in Africa, where I'm from, where I was born. I was born in Mali, but my parents are I'm from West Africa. Just so some of you have listened to my story on and on, so I won't dive too deep in that. But where I am from, when you see someone, you don't only ask them, "How are you?" You actually ask them about their family first, okay? So when you see someone, you're like, "Oh, how are you?" how is your loved one? How is your family? Your parents are good, the household is good. And then you ask them about themselves, okay? And I think what that does is that also shows a genuine concern. So it's not just like, hey, how are you? Fine. Okay, thanks. Bye. It's more so like, I'm genuinely concerned about you. I care about you. I care about not only your well-being, but the well-being of the people who you care about. Okay. So you make it more feel like you make it feel more like it is a community and it is like a family, even with strangers. So that way you can just have a stronger bond with people. But just a note with this, ladies, be careful about asking people for their parents. As I'm getting older and a lot of my friends are older as well, I'm realizing that not everyone's parent is around, unfortunately, okay? So someone's parent might have passed on, maybe they're sick or something. If they're sick, it's good to inquire about them, because only if they have previously told you, okay? But again, just be gaugeful before you ask questions like that, because the last thing you want to ask is ask someone, how's your dad or how is your mother, and their mother have passed away 18 years ago. You know, that's just, it makes things uncomfortable. If that does happen to you, you can just politely say, forgive me, I should have remembered, or forgive me, I didn't know, I'm sorry for your loss. How is the whole family doing? How is everyone in your family doing? Okay, so try to correct even your mistakes. If you've said something accidentally while you're talking to someone or listening to them, it's okay to say, oh, forgive me, I'm wrong about this, I made a mistake, forgive me about this, okay? Instead of saying sorry, when you say sorry, it just, saying sorry to me sometimes also feels maybe not genuine, because it's such a simple thing that we toss around. If you bump into someone in the aisle in the grocery store, you say, oops, sorry. But when you say forgive me, it makes that person, it also invites them into the conversation. So when you say forgive me, you're inviting their input. They have to be the one to forgive you, so they feel some sort of control. So that is often why I often like to say forgive me instead of just sorry. But again, ladies, remember, just be careful when asking about parents, because you really don't know if they're around or so. Just gauge the situation and just be mindful. Remember previous conversations that you've had with that person, if you can, and so on and forth. So point B, so we've just done point A, and point A, just to summarize, is don't only ask people how they are, ask about their loved ones, but be careful about how you ask about those loved ones. And now point B is be present while you are listening, okay? I do this sometimes when I'm speaking to someone, either out of formality, because I have to for work. It's a very diplomatic thing for me. I have to listen to people do small talk. I personally, ladies, I don't like small talk, but I'm learning that small talk is really, really important in life. Because I don't like it, I try to limit it. I don't like to have small talk with people who have disrespected me in the past. No matter how much business I have to do with them, I just try to keep things cordial and polite. But often, sometimes, small talk is necessary. All right, it's necessary to build relationships. It's necessary to also even evolve relationships, because you can't just meet someone and be like, tell me your whole life story. It can begin with, oh my God, how's the weather? Oh, I love this dress. And then the small talk progresses onto deeper conversation. But point B in how to practice proper listening, soft listening, and intentional conversation is just to be present in conversations. If you feel yourself drifting during a small talk or so, one simple way that brings me back from drifting is asking myself, while I can feel myself drifting, what is this person trying to tell me? Okay, when I ask myself that, it gracefully brings me back into the conversation. Okay, so if they're going on and on and on and about their life, and then I'm drifting away, that means that I am most likely uninterested, either in a hurry or just not listening, right? So when I ask myself, what is this person trying to tell me? Not only does that help me understand and catch up or catch on to what they're saying, but it also helps me understand what it is exactly they're saying. So I can summarize it, repeat it back to them, so that they can feel like they are heard and that I have been listening. So let's say that I meet someone, again, let's use Lisa. Forgive me, I don't know anyone in my life named Lisa, or if I do, forgive me. I'm sorry, Lisa. This is just an example name, okay? So let's say that I'm chatting with Lisa, again, back to the gym as we are. since I've already painted this gym example, we're going to use it for the rest of the video. But let's say that I am talking to Lisa, and Lisa is telling me something about her 7-year-old doing something really, really fun, and it's really nice, but I don't have a 7-year-old, so I can't fully always relate, and I feel myself drifting away. What I would do is ask myself, what is Lisa trying to tell me? And so when I ask myself that, my brain automatically goes, Lisa's trying to tell you that she loves her child and that her child is doing something that she is super proud of. Okay, so what I'll say is, oh my God, they really did this, Lisa? They score at the soccer game? How long have they been playing soccer? You probably go to all the matches. If I know you, I know you're such a devoted mom that you probably go to all the matches, don't you? So again, Lisa feels confirmed, validated, and now I understand to an idea of what Lisa's saying. If I'm wrong, she'll be like, oh yeah, I'm super proud, but honestly, I'm tired of this soccer practice. It's expensive, or I hate driving back and forth. And maybe Lisa's just venting for a brief moment. But again, I will never truly understand or listen properly or know if I'm just drifting away with no way to bring me back from the drift. Okay, so now let's move on to point C in point number 3 in how to softly listen and understand. Point C is ask more and share a little bit less, especially at the beginning, okay? When we meet people, oftentimes, whether it is through our own insecurities or because of egotistical reasons or just being plain outright vain, okay? I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be honest, I am guilty of it, okay? I will meet people and just for like my ego just to show up, I'm not guilty of, I don't do this anymore, but just my ego just to show up, I'll start telling them random things that they don't need to know, random accomplishments, just for me to feel validated or just to show off a little bit, okay? So point C is ask more and say less or share less helps you prevent that. So what that does is, again, we're talking to Lisa, she's telling us about her 7-year-old soccer practice, and you know, we ask more things like, do you probably go to all the soccer games? Oh, how that's so exciting. So what it is you're learning more about Lisa, and Lisa feels more heard, but you're also not oversharing things that is unnecessary. Imagine if while Lisa is telling me about her 7-year-old playing soccer and winning a match, and I'm like, well, you know what? I just got new extensions and they're so nice. Look how pretty they look. That makes it look, first of all, it's really insulting. It's not polite. And Lisa also feels like she's not heard. People's children are so important to them. So when someone is telling you about their children, even if it is the most mundane thing, forgive me to say, but even if it is the most usual, simple thing, because that is their child, they are holding it in such a precious light. So try not to shatter it with your own thing, even if your own thing is important. Let's say that I finally was able to resume my flight lessons and I passed my check ride, or I passed a really important certificate that I needed to get, right? Again, while Lisa is telling me about her 7-year-old, is not the time for me to bring that up unless Lisa goes, what's going on in your life? What are you up to lately? If Lisa doesn't ask, honestly, that simply means that she's not important enough for me to share my high important milestones with. That's just how I guard my heart, the things that are important to me. I don't share things with people who have not inquired and asked, especially in a genuine way. Okay, that keeps me sane, that also keeps boundaries, and also just keeps my life clean, soft, and simple. And it also helps me avoid oversharing, honestly. So remember to ask more and share less at first. And so that way it shows that you're present in the conversation, and that also helps you build long-lasting connections and relationship, because people can truly feel like you're listening to them and you're not trying to one up everything that they're trying to share with you in their lives. You know, people don't want to always feel like they're competing with you. Okay, unfortunately, I'm not gonna lie, ladies, I have been guilty of this. I've always been secretly a show off, okay? But as I'm getting older, you know, I don't have to show off. Okay, my friends now show off for me. Now, seriously, I will walk into rooms and my friends will be like, oh my God, did you meet Krista? She's my friend and she's so smart. She speaks all these languages, da-da-da-da-da. And when my friends, when people who know me share things about me, it actually even sounds better, and it reduces me sounding more vain or more egotistical or just more, it just makes me look more in a better light, okay? So ladies, again, You just want to share less and take your time to listen to the things that people are sharing with you, and don't try to one-up people as they're sharing their things with you, no matter how small or how big whatever they're sharing you is. And so that moves me on to point D and point number 3, how to communicate softly, how to listen intentionally. Ladies, this is so important, ladies, is learning how to close a conversation. There are many ways that I do this depending on where I am. I have to either be diplomatic about it if I'm at work, or I have to be gentle about it if I'm around friends or acquaintances, okay? So my simple, if I'm at work, it's a little different. When I'm at work and I'm either talking to a stranger that I have to pass on to my colleague or the company I'm representing, I simply say, it's been so nice chatting with you. Come, I want to introduce you to one of my colleagues. Okay, so they feel like, wow, we've had such a great conversation, and she wants me to share more of this conversation, of more of whatever I shared with her colleague. This colleague might be her boss. This colleague might help me achieve something better. But again, you close things off by saying, thank you so much. It's been so nice to meet you. Let me pass you on. If you cannot pass this person on, if I cannot pass this person on at work, I would just say, it's been so nice talking to you. And I will simply be quiet. Usually when you tell someone it's been so nice talking to you, that is also a silent cue that you are trying to close the conversation. Some people are not very aware though, so I will proceed on how to handle what to do when they're not aware. But let's move the topic back to, let's say that you're talking to a friend and you need to close the conversation, or an acquaintance. How I do that is I would literally say, it's been so nice running into you again. You're glowing as always. I can't wait to see you again. Okay? And what that does is, for me, first, I really enjoy when people around me feel happy, good about themselves, their appearances. Okay? So let's say that I meet someone, and oftentimes I'll talk to women and I'm like, wow, you look beautiful since I've seen you. And they'll say, oh, I gained weight, or oh, I changed my hair. Sometimes they'll say, wow, I changed my hair. Do you like it? And I'll say, yeah, that's what's noticeably different. So again, I enjoy complimenting people. I'm not one of those women who are like, you shouldn't compliment people. I don't hold compliments. People compliment me every single day. Like, even in the elevator in my building, when I'm home, or in my car. Yeah, if I'm in traffic and my car is at a stop sign and my top is down, people are either complimenting my car, me, or something. So I'm used to receiving compliments in abundance very often, sometimes even overwhelmingly, that I don't feel bothered to give away compliments also in abundance, because I just get so much of it that I don't mind oversharing. But I get it. Some people are shy, or sometimes some people like to be more reserved. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me to close off a conversation that I'm having with a friend or acquaintance, telling them something positive that I've noticed about them, a compliment, just really helps me seal the conversation. And it also is a soft way to say goodbye without offending them. Instead of saying, it's been so nice to meet you, gotta go, instead saying, it's been so good to see you, you're glowing as always. Then they feel good about your goodbye, and then you leave, and then you part ways. For me, it is more of a positive impact. That's why I do it. And now let's finalize when you're at work and you're saying goodbye to someone, but they don't want to listen. So you're trying to close the conversation, but they're just talking on and on and off. You can say, it's been so nice to meet you. Or if you already know them, you can say, it's been so good to see you again. If they're going on and on, you can simply and politely say, please forgive me, or please excuse me, I've got to get started on this. And pick up whatever it is in front of you that you need to work on. So if you have paper in your hand, just say, it's been so nice to meet you, or so nice to see you again. Please forgive me. Let me get back to this. But it's so good to see you. That's it. So, and walk away, okay? Or like say goodbye. Smile kindly or politely and say goodbye. Ladies, you have the power to walk away and exit, of course, politely, out of things that are not serving for you. Of course, sometimes, some days that is harder to do than say. But again, ladies, here with the Feminine Takeoff, we take off to better ourselves. When you find yourself in a difficult situation, you will use the tools, the resources that we've talked about here, and you will sprinkle your own experience or your own insight on it, and you will know the best thing to do. I believe in you. Okay, so now let's move on to point number 4, in properly listening and truly honing and increasing your listening skills. And point number 4 is I want to share with you why it benefits you for you to learn to listen. Okay, I know we've touched on that early on in the video, but I just want to intentionally tell you why it's important for you to truly listen, to increase and hone into those listening skills. Okay, so the first thing is, ladies, when you increase your listening skills, it increases your charm, your charisma. Okay, people feel seen around you. Even when you're doing something as simple, even if you're not looking at someone or talking to them, or you don't have time to interact with them, but if you say, "How are you?" and you take a simple moment to pause and look at them in the eye while they are answering the "How are you?" or you simply ask, "How is your family?" even if it's just for a brief moment, and then you excuse yourself and say, "It's been so good to see you. I'm glad everybody's okay." Or if they tell you bad news, just say, "Oh, that's so awful. Let's talk about that. Forgive me, I've got to run, but it's so good to see you." People feel seen and heard by you. Okay? And that is femininity. As a feminine being, you'll notice as you better yourself, you're dressing well, you're looking nicely, you're speaking nicely, people are going to notice you anyway. But now you increase your charm and you up the act of being noticed by allowing yourself to notice them. And that will always bring forth more revenue back to you. And it will always bring something more positive back to you. All right, ladies? So get into the habit of allowing people to feel seen when you're listening to them. When you're quietly, actively listening to someone, people will feel seen by you. And always again, remember, ask yourself, what is this person trying to tell me? When you can ask yourself that, you can truly be able to listen and have those people feel seen by you. And another point in why listening is a superpower, why it's great for you, is that it builds mutual respect. You come across as grounded, okay? Let's say that even if you're in a hurry, but you've taken just a few seconds, a few moments to acknowledge someone while they're speaking, to just be quiet, to listen to them speak, that person can say, "Wow, this person's really mature," because it truly takes maturity to listen. Listening is not an easy task to do. So because it takes so much maturity, emotional intelligence to listen, when you are doing it, people start to regard you as intelligent and also as emotionally intelligent. They trust you more. Why? Because you've taken time to listen to them for them to feel seen. And the third point in why it's so important to really increase your listening skills is that it protects you. Femininity, ladies, needs protection. Okay, femininity needs security. When you take time to actively listen, not only to words but through body language, okay, it also creates situational awareness when you're listening. So when you're listening and you are in a room or you're in a group of friends and you're listening to someone's conversation, you're listening to the body language that they're sharing with each other and with you. You'll notice that something doesn't feel right in this setting. Something doesn't feel good. So that means that you're able to safely get yourself out of there if it is an emergency or if it's something that's not good or safe for you. Or you can even avoid conflict. Let's say that you're listening or talking to someone or having even like a discussion or worst case an altercation with someone, but you're taking time to listen to what they have to tell you, you can avoid conflict. Sometimes all it takes is just a few seconds of being quiet and allowing someone to speak. That avoids them escalating and wanting to get physical. I have spoken to people who sometimes are so aggressive, physically aggressive. Some people who are just like used to fighting people, and then I will be talking to them, and because I've taken time to just be quiet and listen to them, I don't get the end of that aggression that they've dispersed onto everybody else. Okay, because I don't give them anything for them to ignite. I don't give them any fuel for them to ignite because I'm listening to them. Okay, I'm like, okay, all right, this is what you're trying to tell me. All right, now I'm trying to understand this. Sometimes I'll even tell them straight up, even if they're not making sense. I won't say, oh my God, you're not making sense. No, I never would tell someone that unless they're doing something really disrespectful and I'm trying to insult them. And ladies, I rarely insult people, but when I do, I try to insult them in a way that they would think about it for a really long time. Okay, but yeah, I don't usually tell people like you're not making sense. But what I would say is I would try to tell someone, I'm trying to understand you. So when someone is speaking to me and I don't understand them or they're being too aggressive, I will simply just tell them, I am trying to understand you. help me understand this. Show me what this looks like for you. And I'll be quiet and allow them to tell me that. Show me it. Talk me through it. Okay? So again, that will keep you safe from conflicts, and also that will keep you safe from oversharing. If you're too busy listening, trying to understand someone, trying to read the room, read the situation, just taking time to gain more situational awareness in a room, in a conversation, you will feel safer, because that's just the result of being able to listen, ladies. So truly don't underestimate the power and safety that listening will truly provide you, especially as a feminine woman. Ladies, I just want to say this. I am not a people pleaser. I know a lot of the points that I'm saying here might seem like, oh, she's trying to people please when she asks about people's family or just being quiet. But ladies, I am not a people pleaser, but I do enjoy knowing that especially the people that I care about like me. Okay, that is important for me, and that is a natural human thing. Don't allow people to tell you, oh, if you care about what people think about you, or especially people who you care about think about you, then you're insecure. No, that is a natural thing, instinct that has been placed in us humans, because before we needed to survive, and we still do, we needed to survive and fit into our society. Okay, it's all important though how you handle that, how you let that. The more you let it chip into who you truly are in your peace, that's when people pleasing, or that's when it becomes people pleasing. The more you are going out of your way to please someone else, when your spirit is being chipped away, that is when it turns into people pleasing. But overall, before that, it simply turns into wanting peace, positivity around you. So ladies, again, I do care about what people think about me. And most importantly, I care about what people that I like, people who I care about, think about me. If I'm taking time to listen to someone, I care about them. So I do care about how they feel when they're around me. And oftentimes, ladies, I would talk to people, like many people, and I would talk to them and they would say, you know what, I feel so peaceful around you. I feel so heard by you. And you know what it is, ladies? It's because I've been truly working on my listening skills. People didn't always tell me this in my life, to be completely honest with you. This is not always nature, it's also nurture. Okay, one day I realized, especially when I was pursuing aviation actively, I realized it's important for me to listen, have situational awareness, and it's also important for me to have friends, especially when I will need it. Well, even outside of aviation, when I used to manage a lot of people in events management, it was so important for my team, because a lot of times, so a lot of them were my senior. They were like 20, 30, 40 years older than me. It's important for them to feel respected and seen by me, because you cannot, especially as a feminine woman, you learn you cannot have someone who works for you who doesn't feel respected by you. They will never deliver results for you. Okay, especially if they're older than you, they already probably have a chip on their shoulder, and they're like, who is this young person, a feminine woman dressed in pink? What does she know about life? What does she have to tell me? Right? But when you approach a situation like that and you're listening and you're calm and you're trying to understand where they're coming from, you will truly learn that you're quickly changing the dynamic of the situation. You're changing the approach of how they're trying to perceive you, and for your own good and also for their own good, or the greater good of the company that you guys are working for. All right, so it's so important to keep that in mind, ladies. It's okay to be concerned about what people think of us. All right, there's nothing wrong with that. Just be mindful where it doesn't chip away at who you are, it doesn't harm you. And of course, as feminine takeoff ladies, you ladies are so diligent, you are so self-driven, you know what that looks like for you, and only you have the right answer to questions like of this sort. All right, ladies, so now let's move on to point number 5. Ladies, I know I'm drilling on how important listening and listening skills are, because it truly is important in your safety, and I'm going to dive deeper in point number 5. Ladies, point number 5 is listening protects you, especially during your grow up, your level up journey. Let me tell you why. As you are bettering yourself, you are now looking more beautiful, you're looking more elegant. Okay, you are now turning yourself into this attractive ball of light, and so a lot of eyes are going to be on you. Good eyes, evil eyes, many types of eyes. So when you are listening, your listening skills will protect you and be able to guide you through all of those eyes that are looking at you. And during your level up and glow up journey, you'll notice that many people would admire you and many people will also envy you. Even despite the envy, your charm, your curiosity, your listening to people will truly help armor you. It's like your shield. It is an armor to protect you. Because when people are looking at you, especially in an envious way, ladies, a hater, a jealous person, an envious person can kill you. You all have heard stories of successful women or women overall, people overall, who have been hurt. Worse, people have taken their lives just because of envy, of jealousy. So when you are able to listen more, you're curious about why someone is doing something or saying something to you, you truly are able to armor yourself with that type of skill to protect you, to protect your light, especially from those envious people. And in addition to listening, ladies, being polite while you are listening to someone, no matter the crazy things that they're telling you, that also helps protect you. That also helps armor you. And when you are polite, it disarms negativity, okay? Anyone who is not, of course, an ignorant person, that's maybe a little different. But even then, you should just always try to find yourself away from ignorant people. People who you cannot reason with, try to find safety by just staying away from them. Let them sit into that ignorance and they will either hopefully come back to you, or if they don't, at least you're safe away from them. But ladies, when you are polite, you truly disarm people. All right, I'll give you an example. Today, I told you, ladies, I bought a new car, or if you're watching this vlog, I'm not sure the sequence that I'm gonna distributing the vlogs, but I bought a new car and there's a chip in the windshield, and I was so serious. I was so sure that the dealership ships my car. And ladies, you know what? It was my mistake. I bought a used car, of course, but, or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know who shipped the car, right? But when I took it to the dealership, I was so upset. And when I took it there, the person who was helping me, he was also a little bit less responsive when I was contacting him and texting him about the chip in the windshield. So I just drove there and I was so upset, but I kept my calm and composure. So he came, he greeted me, he told me he asked me what happened, and I told him there's a crack, there's a chip in the windshield, and it wasn't there when I came in, and he was like, let me go take a look at it. And as he's taking a look at it, first, he couldn't find it. I'm not sure if he pretended he couldn't see it, but I was so upset. You know, when you're upset and someone is not delivering and the things that you need from them, you get more upset. So I was literally counting to 10 in my head, ladies. Okay. But I politely said, you're not able to find it, because he was outside of the car. So I politely asked him, may I invite you to sit in the car? And I'm sure that I looked upset, okay? Anyone who knows me in real life, when I'm really happy and playful, I'm playful. But my serious face when I'm upset is a really serious face. It scares me too sometimes when I look at it, okay? So anyway, I could tell he was already tense because of how, like, the demeanor that I came with. But it was so important for me to be polite. And also, I was actually wearing this outfit. So it's important again because, I don't know, I don't want to bring my race into it, but because my race, and also I'm not American, so we have a language, maybe a cultural barrier. Of course, I'm speaking English, but sometimes the tone of my English might put people off. So that's why I often wear a lot of pink and dress nicely. So no matter how someone is trying to interpret what I'm saying, and maybe if they're interpreting it wrong, I'm at least, the colors, what they're seeing doesn't scream danger to them, okay? So I never will wear red to a confrontational situation, or if I'm gonna go talk to a lawyer, sign a document, or go confront someone, or go understand the case, I never will wear red. Because first of all, I have an accent, so I don't know if they can fully understand me. If I'm upset, I don't know if they feel already threatened by me. So I don't want to add more fuel to my flames or to my fires by wearing red, okay? So I wore the pink and I was calm, and I just said, may I invite you to sit in the car so you can better see the crack? And he obliged. And so he sat in the car, and eventually I didn't tell him, look, here it's there. I gave him a moment. I was calm and I was quiet. and I gestured my hand, and he found it. It took him a few seconds. It took him a little bit of time, but he found it. So also while he's looking for it, had I been in the car saying, you see, look at this, you did this, da 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 da. Now he's frustrated, I'm frustrated, and I will get no solution. But as I'm calm, he's trying to, whatever he's processing in his head, again, he works at this dealership. At the end of the day, that is a business. Their job is to make sure that I am satisfied. So I'm not going to make it harder on them. And also, ladies, he's human, just as I am. Okay, he's a fellow human, just like me. No matter what is going on in his head, I needed to give him silence and time to process it in order for him to give me the solution that I came to get. Okay. So anyway, as we realized that the ship was already there, and he proved it to me by showing me that it has been sealed. There's no way that he could have cracked the windshield and sealed it enough for me to get it the same day. I'm not sure if I believe or whatever, but he calmly explained it to me. He even talked me through getting the remedy for it, replacing the windshield and so on and forth. That I was like, all right, whatever, at least it's gonna get fixed, right? So ladies, I guarantee you, I would not have reached that conclusion and resolve if I was not able to truly listen. And at the end of our conversation, I was telling him how I needed to talk to the company who sold me the vehicle. And you know what he told me? He said that you're just so calm and polite, even when you're upset, that no matter what you express to them, they'll be able to fix or give you also a remedy. All right. So ladies, and when I walked in there, I was upset. Okay, I don't want to curse, but I was upset, ladies. I was not happy. I'm not sure, again, I don't know the sequence of this video when I'm gonna release this video, but if you see my previous videos, me talking about the crack, I was not really happy. Okay, so anyway, ladies, when you listen, when you take time to truly listen, it benefits you in the long run, and it protects you. And not only does it protect you, it disarms any negativity, either from your end or from the end of the person that you are interacting with. And also, ladies, listening helps you be aware so that you don't blindly walk into situations that are not good for you, that are not serving of you. When you're listening, when you're aware, listening with your eyes, listening with your ears, listening with your gut instincts, especially as feminine beings, as we are grounded, peaceful, and safe, we use all of our senses to listen, and it will truly protect us and also lead us or prevent us from entering situations that are not beneficial for us. And ladies, when you're listening, just always make sure to be curious. Okay, you don't have to have curiosity on whatever topic the person is telling you, even especially if it is a mundane or boring topic. But when I say curiosity, ask yourself the simple question is, what is this person trying to tell me? That is an act of curiosity. You want to understand what the person you are having a dialogue or conversation with trying to tell you. So when you are curious, you will have better understanding. And it will even help you be wiser and be more attuned to your environment. Curiosity really helps. So in point number 5, let me just summarize. When you're listening, and especially as a feminine being and you're glowed up and all eyes are on you, the happy eyes, the envious eyes, and all of that, use your listening skills to be polite, to be aware, and to be curious. So that way you can enhance those listening skills and really give you the best optimal results for wherever you're trying to do or wherever you're trying to get. So now, ladies, let's move on to point number 6. Point number 6 is, always remember, ladies, you don't always have to subject yourself to listening if you don't have the platform to do that, okay? If you're up yourself feeling upset, if you have so much going on, okay, you can politely excuse yourself and say, please just give me a moment. Of course, in life circumstances, life doesn't always give us the luxury of saying, please excuse me, let me go take a nap and relax and calm down. Of course, that's not always possible. But what you can do is, let's say that you are on a date, you are in a meeting. It's okay to politely excuse yourself, go to the ladies' room, take 5 deep breaths, powder your face, take a sip of water, and then go back to what you're doing or what you're talking about. The pauses or, giving yourself peace doesn't have to be this long thing. Sometimes giving yourself peace means 5 seconds of peace, a deep breath. That's all you can get, right? But sometimes it can also mean sleeping on something. Sometimes it could mean taking a nap. Sometimes it could mean running it by a trusted friend, running it by a therapist if you have one, running it by an other source that may benefit you. So taking a break doesn't have to be very, very long. It also doesn't have to be very, very short, but it can be as short or as long as you need, or as the situation that you are in needs from you. Okay, but remember, you have the right to say, wait a minute, pause, let's figure this out. Give me a minute, help me understand this. Even today, while I was trying to get the windshield situation fixed, he was saying something that I didn't understand, and I think because he could sense, I know this about myself, this is I like this, but it's also a flaw to an extent. When I'm really upset and I show it, other people around me start to feel rattled. I can sense it in their energy. They start jittering. Doesn't matter if like they're important or whatever. I have this energy about me. When I'm unsettled, other people around me are unsettled, especially if they either care about me or they're trying to help me. Okay, I know that about myself. So when I noticed like I was really upset, and I noticed he was also getting really upset and trying to explain something to me, I looked at him, I nodded. Sometimes when I'm nodding, I'm trying to signal the person, I'm listening to you. I'm right here with you. I might not agree, but I'm okay. I am listening. Okay. And when he said what he was saying and I didn't understand it, I also said, help me understand that. Will you show me what you mean by that? I literally said, point me to what you're telling me and show it to me. Okay. Of course, again, being polite. You don't have to say, point me to what you're saying and show it to me. But I literally said, may I ask you to point me to this thing, what you're trying to show me? So I am showing you respect, even though I don't understand and I don't agree with what you're saying. We are seeking a solution to the problem that I've brought here. So how do we fix it? And someone who wants to help you solve the solution, they will meet you halfway. And sometimes they might not always meet you halfway, but this is how, when you're calm, polite, your feminine skills will meet yourself in the whole way. You don't have to meet them halfway. You have to meet yourself halfway. You have to meet yourself in a place that is important for you to be met, to be, in order for you to get the solution that you need. Okay, so the situation is going to be resolved. It is resolved, but again, it required listening. So ladies, only you know what you need in the situation that you need it for. Okay, I won't be able to like always tell you, okay, hold your hand and say, this is what you do when this situation happens, because the world has a plethora of situations and scenarios. But with what you learn from either listening to this, listening to other podcasts, reading books, you put it all together, and that is the beauty of Feminine Takeoff, ladies. I should probably come up with a tribe name for us. Maybe the captains. Well, I have a girlfriend who suggested this because we take off, so we should be captains, right? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. But anyway, I should have a nickname for our tribe. But yeah, us feminine ladies, us Feminine Takeoff ladies are captain, I should say. We take every information, every experience we've had from the past, present, or even future, and we use it to best benefit us in the moments that we need it. That is the beauty of Feminine Takeoff. That is the beauty of being a captain of your life. All right. Anyway, ladies, let me know in the comment if you like our new nickname, or suggest even nicknames in the comment. Make sure you put a pink heart next to the suggestion, so that I know that this is what you mean when you're saying the suggestion. So comment a pink heart and a suggestion to our tribe name, if I may ask you. Thank you, ladies. So again, overall, ladies, just my final thoughts on this point on listening, being a soft feminine skill that you should truly try to master, understand, or better and increase. Ladies, when you are listening and you genuinely acknowledge someone, it will always come back to you. I promise. If it doesn't come back, it's in the ether, in the universe, and it will come back to you in some shape or way. In years, decades, centuries, you never know, in seconds, minutes, it will always return back to you. And it'll always come back to you, usually through opportunities, connections, peace, favors, even from God. Doesn't even have to come back to you from a person, but God. Have you ladies ever experienced something, or God giving you something? Those of you who believe in God, I believe in God. Most of my ladies here believe in God. We don't all have to be Christian. A lot of my ladies, some of us are Muslims, some of us are Buddhists, some of us all come from different background. But have you ever, ladies, received a favor, a blessing from God, and you're like, Yeah, I know exactly where this favor came from. So that is how listening, acknowledging, and respecting people, that will literally come back to you from God, from someone, especially as an opportunity, a connection, safety, peace, or even so much more. And ladies, I just want to also tell you, listening is not just a physical skill, it's also a spiritual skill, right? Those of us, especially as I'm deepening my spiritual journey, I am listening. As I'm learning to listen, I'm not only learning to listen humans and people around me and things that are around me and so on and forth. I'm learning to listen to my creator, to God, the divine. So listening is not just a social skill, it is seriously a spiritual skill. That is truly a part of listening because it also helps you increase your influence, especially with grace. It helps deepen your feminine intuition. Okay, a lot of your intuition comes from listening. You can have the best intuition in the world. If you don't listen to it, well, how useful is that intuition? It's not very useful, is it? You see? So overall, ladies, listening helps you understand the beautiful world that is around you. And I hope you've taken something out of this conversation because I have, as I'm learning through and listening myself and gaining more listening skills throughout life. Listen to understand, not just to respond, because it truly will elevate your glow, protect your spirit, and bless every single room that you enter. That I am sure of. So ladies, thank you so much for taking time to watch me here with the Feminine Takeoff. As always, we take off to better ourselves. So please go out there in the world, enjoy listening, embrace it. Of course, have your boundaries in place, but go ahead and listen to the beautiful tunes that this world is singing for us. All right, ladies, thank you again for your time. Please like, comment, and subscribe on my channel if you're new. If you're not new, but you've been watching for a while, please subscribe. It really helps my channel. It really helps with the monetization process that I'm going through. Ladies, I want to get monetized. I want to increase. I want to deliver more better content for us. As you can see, I am evolving. I am growing overall. My content is always better than the last one. At least tell me if I'm wrong, okay? But I would love to hear if I'm wrong. But I'm always striving to be better for you ladies, for myself, for God. And so please help me, and you can help me by doing that, by liking, commenting, and subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much for supporting Feminine Takeoff. As always, here we take off to better ourselves. Mwah.